My question was, how do I differentiate between, intuitive impulse or rational fear? So I'll give you an example. It's like sometimes I get an impulse that, oh, go check this, but I don't know if that's out of fear or if that's my inner being communicating with me, like it's like an inspiration moment. So for example, sometimes I leave my house and then I get this immediate thought that I'm like, go check the door to see if you actually locked it, but more often than not it's actually locked. But when I have
That
that,
gives you an example of a rational, logical interruption
Mhm.
based upon certain fear factors, that perhaps you have failed at something. You have failed to lock the door. You have failed to check if the stove top is off,
Mhm.
or the iron is on, and so on and so forth. Perhaps you fear that you have left the window open.
Right.
And impulse does not necessarily affect you in the same way. The impulse may say to you, what would happen today if instead of driving along Eglinton Avenue, you drove along Lawrence Avenue?
Mhm.
There is a totally different range of feeling tones.
Okay.
Impulses do not necessarily generate fear situations, unless somehow or other your life is threatened.
Yeah.
Then you may feel a great amount of that and react appropriately.
Right.
But intuition goes along the lines of the impulses.
Mhm.
But they also carry a different, we will simply call them energy signature, a different reaction within the body.
Mhm.
So for instance, you might recognize that you just had an intuition that you will be meeting a friend.
Mhm.
You will find that they are very closely related to little coincidences. So for instance, you might be thinking of someone you have not heard of in a while, and lo and behold, an hour or two later, you either get a call from them,
Right.
or you bump into them at the supermarket, or down the street, or in the restaurant, anywhere.
Mhm.
So they are very closely related, but they each have a little difference. And by learning to recognize that, then you can become more expert at identifying what is happening within the field of your reality, within the state of your mind. So for instance, you notice it is 11:11 on the digital clock,
Mhm.
or 2:22. Our suggestion is to begin to look for additional coincidences or happenstance, synchronicities, and you will begin to draw them into your awareness, because it is what you are concentrating on.
Right.
And the more you concentrate on them, the more you see that they start showing up into your life.
Right.
That gives you a beautiful preamble of learning to appreciate and invite intuitions, because they are tangible and you can recognize the energy.
Mhm.
So it is a simple approach, but it works very nicely.
Okay. Thank you. I said one more thing. So sometimes, like I see the synchronicity and the numbers. Sorry, and I wonder that sometimes, like, and I usually see them when I'm feeling good and I'm in my high flying kind of place. But sometimes I also see them when I'm not in the best place. So they're not really representative of whether I'm in alignment or I'm not in alignment, right?
None at all.
Okay.
Simply because synchronicities, happenstance, and so on and so forth,
Yeah.
intuitions, are not dependent upon your state of mind,
Mm-hmm.
because they are the natural state of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
So your state of mind allows you to experience your universe. Very different.
Okay.
But intuition
Mm-hmm.
is the state of reality. When you do not pay attention, you can say, well, there is no such thing because I do not see it. But it does not mean it does not exist. You do not see air, do you?
Mm-hmm.
But you know you must breathe it.
Right.
Because it is a reality for your species and all species within this particular plane of existence. There are other species and other types of beings in other planes and realities that have different experiences. But for you it is important that you learn how to manipulate and adjust and play with and create energetically within this plane of existence. Because it allows you to understand the creative power that exists within your mind. And what goes on in here literally transforms energy into what you call matter, which is just another state of energy. And there is no such thing as an inferior matter or material universe. It is all energy. Consider the glass blower. They will take silica, put it in the oven and melt it, creating glass, which they can manipulate into an endless variety of beautiful art forms with colors and everything else. So they are transforming energy that is in one state into energy that is in another state. And you do that as well, but you are the mystical glass blower.
Okay.